with that second son, but it don't say what caused it, but why he couldn't do what he said he was gonna do. But anyway, with anything, you always want to say if the Lord's will, and for sure you don't want to just renege on what you say you're gonna do and you don't do it willingly. How y'all doing out there again? Freddie calls the chicken in. Hope everything going well with everybody as always. Everybody on up and up. For this week, for all my viewers, you won't get the church video of my church, the Lazetta Pentecostal church video because Sunday I had to work. Helena, or I don't forgot what the hurricane name is. I think it was Helen or something like that. Came through and it delayed a lot of things, so I had to work Sunday, so I didn't get a chance to film as I normally would. So, but I had to take it today old school. Today I'm gonna be reading from what the Lord gave me from St. Matthew, the 21st chapter, and I'm gonna start at that 28th verse and probably read to the, I think, 31st verse. Today, I guess I'll title the video, Don't Fall Short on Your Word. In the upper verses preceding this, in the upper verses, it was pretty much, Jesus' critics talking about him and about his authority and by what authority he have to do and teach, because Jesus didn't go through the way they got it, the elders of Israel and the high priests, they went through training to get where they're at, and some, born into it. So, but they was asking him about what authority he has to do all this, because he wasn't given nothing by somebody else. But then, Jesus, being smart as he is, he posed a question to him, and they said within themselves, if we say this, he gonna say that, and things like that. But however, it got to the point that the question that he had asked, he said they was smart enough not to say nothing. So, and because they didn't answer him, he didn't answer them. In a book, Paul wrote about this, about in one of his epistles. I'm trying to think where is that. I think it's in 2 Timothy 2:23. I believe that's it. Yeah, he was saying, not to certain question to avoid them. If it's foolish, and don't even have nothing to do with foolishness, because that gonna gender strife or generate strife. So, but anyway, that's what Jesus did. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get on into the reading and talk about it. And I'm gonna start at the 28th verse, and it reads, "But what think ye? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. Whether of them twain did the will of his father? They said unto him, the first. Jesus says unto them, Verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of God before you." So in these verses, it kind of talks about, how it begins. No, at the end of that verse, last verse, he was saying which one of the 2 sons did the will of his father, and they did answer right. Even though that first son said he wasn't go, but he repented of what he said and went on and did the will of his father, but then he came to the and the second son, we read about. He said he would do, but didn't go. So in other words, he didn't do the way, even though he said it with his lips, I'm gonna do it, but he didn't actually do it because he didn't go and work in the Father's vineyard. He just said it. A lot of people are that way. They say they're gonna do something, but then don't follow through or fall short on their word. It's not what you say, it's all about what you do. It's not, words can be empty. Which you don't want to be that way. Of course, Jesus, when they did, they answered the right answer, but then he said the publicans and the harlots gonna get in the kingdom of God first before you. In other words, because in the beginning, Jesus came for his own people, to that they may be saved, and the miracles and all that was due to the his people. But like a lot of people today, they'll try to tell people something that they ain't doing. That's practically what they were. They was hypocrites. They didn't do what they trying to charge people, and thinking themselves so much higher than other people, but in actuality they weren't following the will of God. But after the people, or the Gentiles, or the people who Jesus was for, when they heard the word, they began to do it. And, they got a lot of blessings. If you think about the Samaritans, and a whole lot of other people, they received blessings and healings from the Lord because of what the actions they took when they heard the word, and what they did, and the praise and worship that that Israel should have been, putting out there, but they didn't do it, But anyway, it to me, what I get out of that, without making this video too long, it's not what you say. It's all about what you do, and when anything, when you say you're going to do something, you say, if the Lord's will, say that, in our time, nothing can stop Christ from blessing you or anything because, he's God. And, but, in life, sometimes things do come up with us that we can't follow through on what we say. That's why I always say, if the Lord's will, because like I said, you just don't know what can come up. But stuff that you have the will, that you can do, then you decide, you change your mind, that's not good. Some people, that's a common thing, they say they're going to do something and don't do it, and you don't want to be in that position, but anyway, like I say, you don't want to ever say you're going to do something, and it don't say why. He said he was going to do it, that second son, but it don't say what caused it, but why he couldn't do what he said he was going to do. But anyway, with anything, you always want to say, if the Lord's will. And for sure, you don't want to just renege on what you say you're going to do and you don't do it willingly, do that. You don't want to be that. In this case, the elders of Israel and the chief priests, they said they were going to do it, and they intentionally not did things, and that continued. But like I say, they would try to tell other people what to do, and they didn't do it themselves, and you don't want to be that type of person. So, but anyway, that's what I had for y'all today. Hope you gathered some from the word today, and the Lord's will, next Sunday, you'll have another video, a church video, my church, and yeah. Hope you learned some.